This is our first episode in our Leetcode series, and we have a numerical called contains duplicate. So, this numerical is about we have to find a duplicate value in an array. If a duplicate value exists, then we have to return output as true, else we have to return the output as false. So, in example 1, you can see number 1 has been seen twice in an array. So, we have returned true over here, and in example 2 you can see there is no any duplicate values, so the output is false, and same as in example 3 you have many duplicate values, so the output is true over here. So we have to solve this. So basically for solving this we have two approach, which is like brute force, and the other approach is called hash map approach. So let's understand how brute force works first. So brute force is like considering a first element in an array and then keeps on checking the other elements in an array. If both are equal, then we return output as true. Else, if there is no any equal element in an array, then we'll return false over there. But the brute force method takes time complexity of n square because we are traversing the array till n values, right? So it takes the time complexity of n square. So to optimize the time complexity, we will just move on to hash map. So what does this hash map data structure does in our numerical is we will pick an value from an array and we will just store the value in an hash map, and we'll keep on doing it. Once if the array of an element says that the value is already been in a hash map, then we can return the value as true, or else we can return the output as false. So we are just approaching hash map data structure over here. So now let's try to solve this, and I am solving the code in Java. So you can go with any other language which is more comfortable for you. So let's start coding now. So first step, we are just initializing the hash map over here. So hash map, and what should be our data type for our key thing is we're just keeping integer because we have integer values in an array, right? So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1. So our key data type is integer, and our value thing is we'll keep it as boolean, which is true or false. So now we have to name our hash map. So let me name it as map, and let's start a memory location and hash map. That's it. So as a first step, we initialized a hash map over here. Now we can use a for loop. So for int I nums. So this is a for each loop, and you can use the normal standard for loop also, but I'm just going with for each loop. And for int I colon nums is basically the array which is being given to this function, and you can also see in a test case nums is equal to an array. So we are just traversing an array over here, and then we are just gonna check. As a first step, we are gonna check whether the value is in the hash map or not. So if map is our hash map name which we have declared over here. So map dot contains. So which we have to check. We have to check the key, right? Not the value. We have to check the key over here. So contains key of I. I denotes the element of an array over here. So now if it contains, then we have to return true. If it's not contained, then we have to put the value inside a hash map. So our map name dot put is a function used to store a value in a hash, and I denotes the element of an array, and comma true is like boolean value because hash map is key value pair, right? So key is I, which is integer, and true is boolean, which is the value over here in the hash map. So we are just storing the value in a hash map over here. And now after storing it, uh, if after all the for loop runs and there is no any match of any duplicate elements, then we have to return false, right? So outside of for loop, you can return false over here. So basically the motive is we are just creating an hash map and we are traversing an array and we are checking if a value we are just picking from an array is already existed in the hash map, then we are telling to return true, else put the value in the hash map. So if it's written true, then the for loop will get exit over here. But if there is no any duplicate, it will exit the for loop and it will return false. So now let's check and see. So let's run it. Yeah, you can see over here it accepted all the codes. And let's submit and check whether every codes have been accepting or not. So yeah, we have successfully passed this numerical and yeah, the test cases have been accepted over here. So that's it, guys. And this is our first numerical or first episode of our lead code series. And we will meet you on the next numerical. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you.